All right, let's jump right in. We're talking about something really cool today, that sweet spot where food, wellness, and design all come together. We're going to break down the recipe for success for a whole new breed of entrepreneur who's trying to make it in this, well, pretty exciting but also kind of complicated world. So who is this person we're talking about? We're calling them the diet and design entrepreneur. And look, they're not just a chef, right? They're not just a business owner. They're innovators. They're taking the art of food, mixing it with the science of nutrition, and then wrapping the whole thing up in a gorgeous experience. And their goal? Well, it's to feed our growing hunger for, holistic well-being. But I mean, let's be real. You open up your phone and you're just bombarded with trends, right? New superfoods, the latest design craze, it never stops. So it really makes you wonder, what's the real recipe for success here? Not just a flash in the pan, but something that lasts. That's exactly what we're going to get into. Okay, so to get to that answer, we can't just look at what's trendy today. We've got to zoom all the way out. We have to start with the big picture. These massive, unstoppable forces that are shaping, well, pretty much everything.
Yeah, I like to think of them as like the tectonic plates of our culture. They're these huge, slow-moving shifts, and literally everything else is built on top of them. So if you're an entrepreneur in this space, you have to understand these. It's non-negotiable.
And what's really interesting is that none of these megatrends happen in a vacuum, right? They all feed into each other. Think about it. Our digital lives, for instance, open the door to cultural globalization. So suddenly you see a recipe from halfway across the world and you're like, I want to make that. But that same digital life also makes you way more aware of the whole health and wellness movement. So what do? You tweak that recipe to make it healthier. And boom, you've just become a more conscious consumer, someone who really gets the link between mental and physical health. It's that web of connections that's building this whole new foundation.
Okay, so that's the 30,000-foot view. Now let's bring it back down to earth. Let's zoom in from those huge global shifts and see how they're actually playing out right now, like on the street, in the cafes we go to, and all over our social media feeds.
And you can totally see the results everywhere. That big health movement? That's why we have all these amazing wellness cafes. The push for personalization? That's where customized menus come from. Globalization is what fuels all the incredible fusion cuisine we see. And our digital lives? Well, they demand that experiential dining. These are basically the channels where those big megatrends are flowing down to us, and they're creating some seriously huge opportunities.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. It's just not about the food anymore, is it? It's about the entire vibe, the feeling, the atmosphere, the story behind it. The whole place is a stage, and your meal is just one part, maybe the main event, but it's part of a much bigger show. All right, so we've looked at the bedrock foundation and what's happening today. But what about tomorrow? Let's peer into the crystal ball a little bit. Where's all of this heading? What's the next big wave that entrepreneurs need to get ready to catch? The path here seems pretty clear, actually. It started with very individual stuff, like you going to a wellness cafe to grab a healthy lunch for yourself. Then, we all started sharing those things online. Every meal became an Instagram post or a TikTok video. But the next step? It's all about bringing people together. We're talking community dinners, wellness workshops, these collective shared experiences. The whole focus is shifting from just me to us.
And this really breaks down how things are evolving. It makes the future feel super concrete. So take today's experiential dining. Tomorrow, that's going to look more like a hybrid experience. Food, plus music, plus art, the whole shebang. And those customized diet menus? They're becoming less about just counting calories and way more about emotional marketing, tying food to feelings like calm or energy or joy. And fusion cuisine is going deeper too, from just mixing flavors to creating these really authentic collaborations between chefs, nutritionists, and designers.
Okay, so we've got the big picture, and we've got a glimpse of the future. Now for maybe the most important part, how do you actually do it? Let's get down to brass tacks and talk about how to navigate this path.
And this is where we get real for a second. For every awesome opportunity pushing you forward, there's a sneaky little pitfall waiting to trip you up. The key to success is really knowing the difference. You got to know what the tailwinds are, the things helping you, and what the headwinds are, the things working against you.
This chart lays it out so clearly. The good news, the tailwinds are really strong. I mean, people are actively looking for mindful eating. They crave those aesthetic experiences. But the headwinds are just as real. A trend that's hot on TikTok today could be totally gone tomorrow. And don't even get me started on all the misinformation out there. So the trick is to ride those tailwinds, for sure, but also to build a brand that's strong enough to handle the turbulence.
Okay,
Wow, we have covered a ton of ground, haven't we? From those huge global forces all the way down to the nitty-gritty of actually running the business. So let's pull it all together now. Let's create one single coherent strategy. What's the key ingredient that makes it all work?
Well, here it is. This is your recipe. It's a 3-layer cake, basically. Layer 1, your foundation, has to be those big, long-term megatrends. You got to know them. Layer 2 is your strategy, which is all about understanding today's trends and spotting what's coming next. And that top layer, that's your daily execution, skillfully navigating all those signals, the good and the bad, to keep moving forward. It's this 3-part approach that's going to help you build something that actually lasts.
And that brings us to one last thought to leave you with. After looking at all the data, all the trends, all the strategies, maybe the real secret ingredient isn't an ingredient at all. It's not some superfood or specific design choice. As we see this shift towards community, towards emotional connections, it makes you wonder, right? In this whole business of diet and design, could it be that the most powerful, most essential ingredient of all is just genuine human connection? Definitely something to chew on.